Have you ever found yourself in a relationship with someone for a long time and the next thing you know, you start thinking like they do, you start laughing like they laugh, or they might have a bad temper and you wind up picking up their temper? That's where soul ties actually occur. I remember one time I was in a relationship with someone and this guy had such a bad temper and his temper actually transferred over to me. And I found myself at one time home, like throwing things around in my house. And I'm like, this is not me. And then my daughter, thank God for her, she said, that's coming from such and such. He imparted part of that soul into you. And what Satan will do is use that addiction to keep you in bondage, to keep you from finding out who you are. Because every time you get with this person or get with another person, you start to think like them. And instead of being in communion with God the way that you're supposed to, you start withdrawing from God, right? Because now God can't love you. You start to think, well, he's not pleased with me, so why should I go to church? And you start running. I thank God for my pastor at that time. He said, if you find yourself in sin, you need to run to the church. So I would run to the church, but I still felt convicted and then condemned after a while because I couldn't stop on my own. I would pray. I wasn't into the word like I needed to be, but I pray and ask God to help me. And then I remember my pastor talking about renewing myself in the word, right? Washing yourself with the word. Because every time you look at the word, every time you read scripture, it shows you, it's like a mirror. It shows you where you are. It shows you where your shortfall is. And it also helps you, gives you instruction as to how to get out of it. So I started to renew my mind with the word. I started to read the word every day. I started to pay attention in church. While I was in church, my pastor one day gets up and he says, if you have a problem with something in particular, he said, why don't you ask God to take the desire away from you? And that clicked for me. I said, oh, that's all I have to do? So I went home that night and I said, Lord, I asked that you would take the desire away from me to do this over and over again. The ladies, my friends, they thought I was the coolest thing since sliced bread, right? But it was no fun for me. And if this video spoke to you, don't ignore it. This could be the moment things change for you. Subscribe for more content like this because we're not just building content, we're building freedom, okay? And thank you for watching this. I'll see you on the next one.
Come to the well where mercy flows, living water for the thirsty soul.